सबुथिकी अंध तुम तनु बास बिना न पारे मु तुम तनु बास बिना न पारे मु आउ तो काहारी गंध आउ तो काहारी गंध तुम्हारी पानी भोला मोर आउ सबु की अंध तुम्हारी पानी की भोला आउ सबु की
जय गुरु। फूटा फूल मुझे तुम बाट चाही कमल चरणी से विवार पाई फूटा फूल मुझे तुम बाट चाही कमल चरणी से विवार पाई कमल चरणी से विवार पाई गहना बना रे रहिछि अनाई गहना बना रे रहिछि अनाई बास मोर चहटाई बास मोर चहटाई फूटा फूल मुझे तुम बाट चाही कमल चरणी से विवार पाई कमल चरणी से विवार पाई गंध वाहिनी हे धीर समीर गंध वाहिनी हे धीर समीर चौदिगे कही दिए से खबर चौदिगे कही दिए से खबर ये बड़ा मल्लीरा बास समाचार ये बड़ा मल्लीरा बास समाचार तुमको की जଣା नहीं तुमको की जଣା नहीं फूटा फूल मुझे तुम बाट चाही कमल चरणी से विवार पाई कमल चरणी से विवार पाई मो देहे भरिलो सुबास मधुर मो देहे भरिलो सुबास मधुर अपसोर रूप सागर अपसर रूप रंगर सागर केबे ताहा तुम सेबारे लगिबा केबे ताहा तुम सेबारे लगिबा कुह हे प्राण साई कुह हे प्राण साई फूटा फूल मुझे तुम बाट चाही कमल चरणी से विवार पाई कमल चरणी से विवार पाई मो प्राण कलिका रहियाछि चाही मो प्राण कलिका रहियाछि चाही श्री अंग परस लभिबार पाई श्री अंग परस लभिबार पाई केबे से सुदीन आसिबा हे प्रभु केबे से सुदीन आसिबा हे प्रभु चरणे लागिबि मुहे चरणे लागिबि मुहे फूटा फूल मुझे तुम पथ चाही कमल चरणे से विवार पाई कमल चरणे से विवार पाई। जय गुरु। हेता मोहन बंसी बाजिलाणी आसे चल सखी जीवा चल प्रिय मुख देखी चल सखी जीवा चल प्रिय मुख देखी एता मोहन बंसी बाजिलाणी आसे चल सखी जीवा चल प्रिय मुख देखी चल सखी जीवा चल प्रिय मुख देखी जमुना कूले शुभुछि से राई राई से डाकुछि जमुना कूले शुभुछि राई राई से डाकुछि कहा पाई के सुर। जय गुरु।
धनम भोजन पूजबर गुणहीनम शेष गुणाधिपति भव भीरु जाने सत तंबरद प्रणमामि गुरुं शिव কল্পতরুম প্রণমামি গুরুম শিব কল্পতরুম।
জয়গুরু। চন্দন চর্চিত কান্ত কলেবর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ চন্দন চর্চিত কান্ত কলেবর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ মন্দার নিন্দিত রঙ্গিম মন্দার নিন্দিত রঙ্গিম মন্দ মন্দ মধুহাস মন্দ মন্দ মধুহাস চর্চিত কান্ত কলেবর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ কমল কমনীয় কোমল কণ্ঠ কমল কমনীয় কোমল কণ্ঠ মণ্ডিত বন ফুলহারে মণ্ডিত বন ফুলহারে সুন্দর শতদল শোভিত পাদ সুন্দর শতদল শোভিত পাদ বাসিত সৌরভ ভারী বাসিত সৌরভ ভারী চন্দন চর্চিত কান্ত কলেবর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ মন্দার নিন্দিত রঙ্গিম মন্দার নিন্দিত রঙ্গিম মন্দ মন্দ মধুহাস চন্দন চর্চিত কান্ত কলেবর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ প্রেম পুলক পরি শীলন সংঘ প্রেম পুলক পরি শীলন সংঘ গুরু গৌরব গীত গায়ে মায়াময় সংসার সংকিত চিত্ত মায়াময় সংসার সংকিত চিত্ত জ্ঞান করমে অবগাহে জ্ঞান করমে অবগাহে কান্ত করে গর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ ধর্ম সনাতন বিমল বসন্ত ধর্ম সনাতন বিমল বসন্ত বিরসিত ললিত সমীরে বিরসিত ললিত সমীরে যুগ জন বন্দন জয় গুরু নাম যুগ জন বন্দন জয় গুরু নাম মধুর মধুর রস সার মধুর মধুর রস সার চন্দন চকিত কান্ত করে কর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ মন্দার নিন্দিত রঙ্গি মধর মন্দার নিন্দিত রঙ্গি মধর মন্দ মধুহাস মন্দ মন্দ মধুহাস চন্দন চকিত কান্ত করে বর শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ শ্রী গুরু মনোহর বেশ।
Jayaguru Nigamopadesa, page 141. Forsake self-intelligence. God is present, but no one can ever find him in logic or in the Vedas and mythologies or in the Quran or in the Bible. Mind and intelligence cannot reach him. Rather, one can find him by extinguishing mind and intelligence. So long as one has not generated faith in God, one has to inquire the truth underlying the world or one's own self. Go to a saint and discuss with him the principles of truth. One cannot find solution to all these just from speeches and writings. My principle is that I do not indicate the path towards divinity to any disciple so long as he relies on his own intelligence. When a disciple completely depends on me, I shall select for him the right direction. You abandon all paths and embrace the path of devotion. Come under his shelter and surrender everything unto him. Practice to take his nama only. You can achieve the fruit of yoga, jnana and bhakti only by japa. Some of my devotees living amidst joys and jubilations get unique celestial experiences which are not possible in yoga or the Vedantic discussions. You capitalize only on japa. One also attains samadhi in japa. One may be disabled or disinterested in sadhana bhajana, but if one has at least desire for spiritual development, the grace of Guru operates in him. How can divine power be transmitted in the absence of spiritual yearning? For me, there is no difference between a Vaishnava, that is the worshipper of Krishna mantra, and a Shakta, the worshipper of Sakti mantra. All should take sattvic food for the purification of mind. Live according to dictates of conscience. There is no need of mantra. You offer Naivedya and mind without uttering any mantra. One can offer bhoga to Ishta and Guru on one plate by considering them one. Jayaguru, ମୁଁ ଆଜି କଳ୍ପନା ମାଙ୍କ ସେବା ଥିଲା to read the ବିବରଣୀ, so I'm going to do it on our behalf. Jayaguru, Nilachal Saraswata Sangha Puri, America Saraswata Sangha, 1001 Weekly Puja Program, date 3rd May 26, Palya Yukta, Kalpanama Ipsitama, time 7:15 a.m. to 11:55 a.m. Eastern. Adhibasa Puja was held at Nigama Smriti Mandira on the evening of May 2nd, 2026. Then May 3rd, morning session 7:51 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. Eastern. The morning session of the puja commenced at 7:15 a.m. with Pratikya. During Pratikya, Nilipta Ma sang Chahi Rahiche Sidinako Pudakhi, and Smita Bai Ma sang Pranabandhava He Chahi Rahiche Patha Asibo Boli. At that time, all devotees joined the puja either at NSM or via teleconference. Sanijit Bhai performed the puja archana and offered arati to Shree Shree Thakur. Niluma then did the singing of Bandai Guru Charana followed by Stuttabandana. After Stuttabandana, Sunalima recited Shree Shree Guru Gita verse 66. Brajabhai then conducted the Parishaya Patra Patha, which was followed by the Sammalani in Bhaktanivasa Nirmana Prathana. Rasmi Pandama then read from Sangha Sevaka 26th year part 3, covering Bandana, Prathana and Prathana Karinka Prati. After the Sangha Sevaka reading, Kalpanama invited Shree Shree Thakur and all bhaktas to attend the second session. The first session concluded with the chanting of Jayaguru Mahanama Kirtana. Balya Bhoga was offered to Shree Shree Thakur Maharaj and all bhaktas were served prasad. Second session, 9:45 a.m. to 11:55 a.m. Eastern. The second session of the puja started at 9:45 a.m. with Abhana. During Abhana, Linama sang Siname ki Jadu Achi Kaha Kahare Sakhi, and Sukanya Ma sang E Manamandira Sajai Rakhimu Basichi Parana sang. The asana was opened with Bhavavandana Mochana Pranamagana. Pujama sang the Bandana song Premamaya Tumu Charana Tale Kotiye Manika Dipali Jale. Kalpanama sang the Parishaya Patrapatha. Anjalima sang Vishpati Pranam. Ushama read from Nigamapadesa, page 140, the importance of the place of pilgrimage. Linama then read the previous Sangha Puja report. Sipani Dibedima read page 249 onwards from Pancha Sanyasini Sishya. Arpitama sang the Prathana Sangita Bhava Vinodiya Bhakata Vatsala Ghina Bhakatara Priti Pranati. After Prathana Sangita, Padmama read page 129 onwards from Yogi Guru. During QA session, Brajabhai discussed about Asthira Mana Chitta Siddhi, Asakti, Tyaga, Vairagya, etc. The YA session began with Shrija singing the Prathana song Asa Sarabe Bahutoli Hoinamali, Shri Guru Boli. YA session was conducted by Shriyama. After the YA session, Yukta, Kalpanama and Ipsitama did Bhava Vinima Seva. Then Ipsitama invited Shree Shree Thakur for Madhyana Bhoga and the evening puja. Aditi, Smita Raima and Bhaktima invited Shree Shree Thakur for the next Sangha Puja to be held on 10th May 2026. Ipsitama asked for forgiveness from Thakur and all bhaktas for any mistakes during the Sangha Puja. The session concluded with the Vidaya Prathana Dinanatha Evikhya sung by Sivani Mahantima. The asana was closed with Jayaguru Nama Kirtana and Pranama. Biswajit Bhai took attendance of all Bhais and Maas. Madhyana Bhoga was offered to Shree Shree Thakur, followed by Prasad Sepana by all Bhais, Maas and Vais. Shree Shree Thakur Charanashrita, Yukta, Kalpana, Ipsitama. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Nilachal Thakur Nigamananda, page 292. ସେତେବେଳେ କୌଣସି ଜଣେ ଶିଷ୍ୟ ଗୃହରେ ଠାକୁର ଥାଆନ୍ତି। ଦିନେ ସେ ପ୍ରାୟ 9ଟା ବେଳେ ମନକୁ ମନ ଶୌଚାଗାର ଆଡ଼କୁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। ଏତିକି ବେଳେ ପଛରୁ ସରୁ ମଧୁର କଣ୍ଠରେ କିଏ କହି ଉଠିଲା, ଥୁଲ ଆମାଲେ ବାନ୍ଧି ଠାକୁର ମତେ ବାନ୍ଧିଛନ୍ତି। ଚମକି ପଡ଼ି ପଛକୁ ଅନାଇ ଠାକୁର ଦେଖିଲେ ଅଗଣାର ଗୋଟିଏ ପାଖରେ ଗୋଟିଏ ଗୋରା ଟକ୍ ଟକ୍ ପିଲା, ତାହାର ଦୁଇ ହାତ ଗୋଟିଏ ଗଛରେ ଶକ୍ତ ଭାବରେ ବନ୍ଧା ହୋଇଛି। ତାହାର କଅଁଳ ମୁହଁ ଉପରେ ଖରା ଆସି ପଡ଼ିଲାଣି। ସେ ଝାଳରେ ଏକବାରେ ଲାଲ ପଡ଼ିଗଲାଣି। ତତ୍କ୍ଷଣାତ୍ ନିଜର ହସ୍ତରେ ତାହାର ବନ୍ଧନ ଖୋଲି ଦେଉ ଦେଉ ଠାକୁର କହିଲେ, ଆରେ କିଏ ଏହାକୁ ଏପରି ଭାବରେ ଏଠାରେ ବାନ୍ଧି ରଖିଛ? ତାଙ୍କ ଉଚ୍ଚକଣ୍ଠର ଶବ୍ଦ ଶୁଣି ବୟସ୍କମାନେ ଧାଇଁ ଆସି ଘଟଣା ଦେଖି କହିଲେ, ସେ ଭାରି ଦୁଷ୍ଟ। କେଉଁ ଭୋଗଟା କେତେବେଳେ ସେ କିପରି ଯେ ନଷ୍ଟ କରିଦିଏ ଠାକୁର, ତାହାର ଠିକଣା ନାହିଁ। ବାଧା ଦେଇ ଠାକୁର କହିଲେ, ଯାହା କରୁ ପଛକେ ତାକୁ ଆଉ ବାନ୍ଧିବ ନାହିଁ। ସେ ଯେ ମୋ ନିକଟରେ ଅଭିଯୋଗ କରିଛି। ସେ କିଏ ସୁକୃତିଶାଳୀ? ଯଥାସ୍ଥାନରେ ହିଁ ସେ ଯେ ବନ୍ଧନ ମୋଚନର ନାଲିଶ କରିଥିଲା। 1340 ସାଲ କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ ମାସରେ ଠାକୁର ବେଲଘରିଆରୁ ଭ୍ରମଣରେ ବହିର୍ଗତ ହେଲେ। କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ 9 ଦିନ ସେ ଘଡ଼ିସାର ଯାଇଥିଲେ। ଘଡ଼ିସାର ନିବାସୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ହରିଦାସ ପୁଡ଼ି ବହୁଦିନ ପୂର୍ବେ ଠାକୁର ଯେତେବେଳେ କାଶୀରେ 48 ନମ୍ବର ପିଲଖାନାରେ ଥିଲେ, ସେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଘଡ଼ିସାର ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ପାଥେୟ ପଠାଇଥିଲେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଠାକୁର ସେ ଟଙ୍କା ଫେରାଇ ଦେଇଥିଲେ। ସେହିଦିନ ଠାରୁ ଘଡ଼ିସାର ଗ୍ରାମ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆକୁଳ ଭାବରେ ପ୍ରତୀକ୍ଷା କରିଥିଲା। 1338 ସାଲରେ ତଦାନନ୍ତନ ମଠାଧ୍ୟକ୍ଷ ପ୍ରଜ୍ଞାନନ୍ଦ ମହାରାଜଙ୍କୁ ଘଡ଼ିସାର ବାସୀବୃନ୍ଦ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ କରିଥିଲେ, ଭାଇ କ'ଣ କଲେ ଆମେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଆମ ଭିତରେ ପାଇବୁ? ମହାରାଜ ଉତ୍ତର ଦେଇଥିଲେ, ତାଙ୍କ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କଲେ ଯାଇ ତାଙ୍କୁ ପାଇବ। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମଠର ଗୃହର ସଂସ୍କାର ହେଉଛି, ତୁମେମାନେ ତାଙ୍କ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ପାଇଁ 500 ଟଙ୍କା ଦିଅ। ଘଡ଼ିସାର ସଂଘ ଗୋଟିଏ ନିତାନ୍ତ ଛୋଟ ସଂଘ, ତଥାପି ସଂଘ ସେଇମାନେ ପ୍ରାଣପଣେ ଏହି ଟଙ୍କା ସଂଗ୍ରହ କରିବାକୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କଲେ, କିନ୍ତୁ 2 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ ସେମାନେ 250 ଟଙ୍କାରୁ ଅଧିକ ଦେଇପାରିଲେ ନାହିଁ। ସୁତରାଂ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ସେମାନେ ଆଉ ପାରିବେ ନାହିଁ ଏହା ଭାବି ସମସ୍ତେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କ୍ଷୁର୍ଣ୍ଣ ମନରେ ଥାନ୍ତି, ଠିକ୍ ସେତିକିବେଳେ ଠାକୁର ପ୍ରଜ୍ଞାନନ୍ଦ ମହାରାଜଙ୍କୁ ଚିଠି ଦେଲେ, ଘଡ଼ିସାର ବାସୀଙ୍କ ଆକୁଳ ଆହ୍ୱାନ ମତେ ଆକର୍ଷଣ କରୁଛି। କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ 9 ଦିନ ମୁଁ ଯାଉଛି, ତୁମେମାନେ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତ ଥାଅ। ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଆଗମନରେ ସେଥର ଘଡ଼ିସାରରେ ବିଭାଗୀୟ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ହେଲା। ତାଙ୍କ ସଙ୍ଗରେ ନୀଳମଣି ଭାଇ ଓ ଭୁବନ ଭାଇ ସେବକ ଭାବରେ ଯାଇଥିଲେ। ଆଉ ମଧ୍ୟ ଦାଦା ମହାଶୟ, ଫଣୀ ବାବୁ, ନୃପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ରାୟ, ଯୋଗେଶ୍ୱର ଗାଙ୍ଗୁଲି, ନରେଶ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ପାକଡ଼ସି, ହରପ୍ରସାଦ ରାୟ, ପ୍ରସନ୍ନ କୁମାର ଦାସ, ଦୁର୍ଗାଚରଣ ଦତ୍ତ ପ୍ରମୁଖ ବିଶିଷ୍ଟ ଶିଷ୍ୟ ଭକ୍ତମାନେ ତାଙ୍କ ସଙ୍ଗରେ ଯାଇଥିଲେ। ପ୍ରଜ୍ଞାନନ୍ଦ ମହାରାଜ ଆଗରୁ ଯାଇ ଘଡ଼ିସାରରେ ଥିଲେ। ସେଥର ଘଡ଼ିସାର 10 ମାଇଲ ଭିତରେ ଯେତେ ଗ୍ରାମ ଥିଲା, ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ନେଇ ସର୍ବତ୍ର ଯେ ଉତ୍ଥିତ ହୋଇଥିଲା, ତାହା ଦାଦା ମହାଶୟ ଖଣ୍ଡିଏ ଚିଠିରେ ରାତି ସବୁବେଳେ ହଜାର ହଜାର ଲୋକ ଥରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଦର୍ଶନ ପ୍ରଣାମ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଅପେକ୍ଷା କରୁଥିଲେ। ହୋଇଲ ଧରଣୀ ତୋମାର ରାତୁଳ ଚରଣ ପର, ଦିନହୀନ ଜନ ହୋଇଲ ଲିଭିଆ, ଯୁଗେ ଘୁଞ୍ଚାଓ ଧରାର ଦୁଃଖ ତାପ ରାଶି, ହୃଦୟ ସିକ୍ତ କରଗ କରୁଣା ଅମୃତ ସିଂହ, ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦ ରୂପେ ତ ଏବାଦ ପ୍ରକାଶିଲେ ଯଦି ବଳେ, ଅନାଥ କାଙ୍ଗାଳ ମୋରା ମୂଳ, ଭଜନ ବିହୀନ ମୂଢ ଅଭାଜନେ ନିଜ କୃପା ଗୁଣେ ଖମିଆ, ଧନ୍ୟ କର ଗୋ ସ୍ନିଗ୍ଧ କରୁଣା କଣା ପ୍ରଦାନିଆ। 1376 ସାଲ ମାଘ ସଂଖ୍ୟା ଆର୍ଯ୍ୟ ଦର୍ପଣ ଦ୍ରଷ୍ଟବ୍ୟ। ଉତ୍କଳ ଅନୁବାଦଟା ମୁଁ ସ୍କିପ୍ କରୁଛି। ଏହି ସୁନ୍ଦର ଗୀତଟି ସେଥର ଘଡ଼ିସାର ସଂଘର ପ୍ରେମାଞ୍ଜଳି। ଘଡ଼ିସାରରୁ ଠାକୁର ସନ୍ଦୀପ ଗଲେ। କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ 13 ଦିନ ଘଡ଼ିସାରରୁ ବାହାରି କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ 14 ଦିନ ଚଟ୍ଟଗ୍ରାମରେ ପହଞ୍ଚି ସନ୍ଦୀପ ଯାତ୍ରା କରିବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଆମିଲାଇସ୍ର ଭକ୍ତମାନଙ୍କୁ କହିଗଲେ ଯେ କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ 17 ବା 18 ଦିନ ଚଟ୍ଟଗ୍ରାମ ଫେରି ଆସି ଆମିଲାଇସ୍ ଯିବେ। ସନ୍ଦୀପରେ କେବଳ ସେଥର ନୁହେଁ, ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଥର ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ନେଇ ଆନନ୍ଦ ଉତ୍ସବର ସମାରୋହ ଦେଖାଯାଏ। ଏକଥା ଆମେ ସନ୍ଦୀପବାସୀ ଗୁରୁ ଭଗ୍ନୀ ମାନଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ଶୁଣିଛୁ। ପରଲୋକଗତା ସରୋଜ ମା ସନ୍ଦୀପର କନ୍ୟା ଥିଲେ। ତାଙ୍କ ଆତ୍ମୀୟ ପରିକର ମାନଙ୍କ ମୁଖରୁ ଶୁଣିଛି, ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଆଗମନରେ ସନ୍ଦୀପ ଭଳି ଟଳମଳ ହୁଏ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମିଲାଇସ୍ ଗ୍ରାମ ଅଭ୍ୟର୍ଥନା ଅଭିନବ। ମୋଟ କଥା ଏଥର ସତେ ଯେପରି ଠାକୁର ମହାରାଜଙ୍କୁ ଢାକା ଚଟ୍ଟଗ୍ରାମ ନୂତନ ଭାବରେ ହୃଦୟରେ ଲାଭ କରିଥିଲା। ଶ୍ରୀମତ୍ ସିଦ୍ଧାନନ୍ଦ ମହାରାଜଙ୍କ ନିକଟରେ ଆମିଲାଇସ୍ ଗ୍ରାମର ଉତ୍ସବ ବିବରଣୀ ପାଠ କରିଛି। ପ୍ରଜ୍ଞାନନ୍ଦ ମହାରାଜଙ୍କ ନିକଟରେ ପୂର୍ବବଙ୍ଗ ବିଜୟ ନାମକ ଗୋଟିଏ ଖାତାରେ ସେଥରର ମହୋତ୍ସବ କାହାଣୀ ଲିପିବଦ୍ଧ ଥିଲା। ମୁଁ ଏଠାରେ ସ୍ୱୟଂ ଠାକୁର ମହାରାଜଙ୍କର ଖଣ୍ଡିଏ ଚିଠି ଉଦ୍ଧାର କରି ତତ୍କାଳୀନ ଭ୍ରମଣ କାହାଣୀର ପରିଚୟ ପ୍ରଦାନ କରିବି। ଏଥର ଯେ କି ଲଗ୍ନରେ ଯାତ୍ରା କରିଥିଲି କହିପାରିବି ନାହିଁ। ଘଡ଼ିସାର ବିଷୟ ଫଣୀର ପତ୍ରରୁ ଜାଣିଥିବ। ସର୍ବତ୍ର ଏଥର ସେହିଭଳି ବିରାଟ ଅଭ୍ୟର୍ଥନା। ବିଶେଷତଃ ସନ୍ଦୀପ, ଆମିଲାଇସ୍, ରୋସାଙ୍ଗିରି ପ୍ରଭୃତି ଚଟ୍ଟଗ୍ରାମର କେତୋଟି ସ୍ଥାନ ଉଲ୍ଲେଖଯୋଗ୍ୟ। ଏସବୁ ସ୍ଥାନରେ ଭକ୍ତ ସଂଖ୍ୟା ଅଧିକ, ତେଣୁ ପ୍ରାଣର ପରଶ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଧିକ। ଚଟ୍ଟଗ୍ରାମରେ ହିଁ 15 ଦିନ କଟିଗଲା। ବହୁ ସ୍ଥାନର ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟାଖ୍ୟାନ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିଲା। ଭକ୍ତମାନଙ୍କର ଆକୁଳତା, ହୃଦୟ ବିଦାରକ କ୍ରନ୍ଦନ ଦେଖିଲେ ପାଷାଣ ମଧ୍ୟ ସ୍ଥିର ରହିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ। ସାକ୍ଷାତ ଭିନ୍ନ ପତ୍ରରେ ସେସବୁ କଥା ଲେଖିବା ଅସମ୍ଭବ ଏବଂ ସମୟ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଭାବ। ଏଥର ସତେ ଯେପରି ମୁଁ ଦିଗ୍ବିଜୟରେ ବାହାରିଛି। ସଙ୍ଗରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ବହୁ ଗୃହସ୍ଥ ଭକ୍ତ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। ରାସ୍ତାରେ ଘାଟରେ, ନଦୀବନ୍ଧରେ ସର୍ବତ୍ର ମନୁଷ୍ୟ। ଯାହା ହେଉ ଏଠାରୁ 5 ତାରିଖରେ ଶ୍ରୀହଟ୍ଟ ଯିବି। 8 ତାରିଖରେ ଶିଲଚର ଯିବାର କଥା। ଆଉ କେଉଁଠାକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ କି ନା ତାହା ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମୋର ଅଜ୍ଞାତ। ଏବେ ସୁଦ୍ଧା 15 ତାରିଖ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ମଠରେ ପହଞ୍ଚି ପାରିବି ନାହିଁ। ଭୁବନ ମୋତେ ପ୍ରାଣପଣେ ଆରାମରେ ରଖିଛି। ଏକମାତ୍ର ତାହାରି ଯୋଗୁଁ ଏତେ ଲୋକ ଗହଳ ଭିତରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୋର ଆରାମରେ ବ୍ୟାଘାତ ଘଟି ନାହିଁ। ପ୍ରଜ୍ଞାନନ୍ଦ ସମୟ ସମୟରେ ଅନର୍ଥକ ଭଙ୍ଗ କରୁଛି। ଏଥିପାଇଁ ମୋତେ ଲଜ୍ଜା ବୋଧ ହେଉଛି। ତଥାପି ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି। ଭୁବନ ସବୁ ଦିଗରୁ ଉତ୍ତତାର ପରିଚୟ ଦେଉଛି। ଭୁବନ ମୋ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ନଥିଲେ ମୋ ପକ୍ଷରେ ଏଭଳି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟଟନ ଅସମ୍ଭବ ହୋଇଥାନ୍ତା, ଏଥିରେ ସନ୍ଦେହ ନାହିଁ। ଏହି ଚିଠି ଖଣ୍ଡିକ ମାର୍ଗଶିର 2 ଦିନ ମୟନାମତୀ ଆଶ୍ରମରୁ ଲିଖିତ। ମନେ ରଖିବାକୁ ହେବ, ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ମହାପ୍ରଣୟ ଆଉ ଠିକ୍ 2 ବର୍ଷ ବାକି ଥିଲା। ଏହି ବିଜୟ ଉତ୍ସବ ବିସର୍ଜନର ବିଜୟା। ଶ୍ରୀ ଗୌରାଙ୍ଗ ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କ ଶେଷ ବଙ୍ଗ ଭ୍ରମଣରେ ଯାଇଥିଲେ, ବଙ୍ଗାଳୀମାନେ ଯେପରି ଅନ୍ତରରେ ଉପଲବ୍ଧି କରିଥିଲେ ଯେ ସେମାନେ ଆଉ ପ୍ରେମର ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପାଇବେ ନାହିଁ, ତେଣୁ ସେ ଯେଉଁଠାକୁ ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ସେଠାରେ ଆବାଳ ବୃଦ୍ଧ ବନିତା ଉନ୍ମତ୍ତ ହୋଇ ଉଠିଛନ୍ତି। ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ଏଥରର ପୂର୍ବବଙ୍ଗ ଭ୍ରମଣରେ ଜନସାଧାରଣଙ୍କର ପ୍ରାୟ ସେହିଭଳି ଆକୁଳତା ଦେଖା ଦେଇଥିଲା। କେବଳ ଭକ୍ତ ଶିଷ୍ୟମାନେ ନୁହନ୍ତି, ସର୍ବସାଧାରଣ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସ୍ପର୍ଶ କରିବାକୁ ଓ ତାଙ୍କୁ ନିକଟରେ ପାଇବାକୁ ଆଗ୍ରହ ପ୍ରକାଶ କରିଥିଲେ। 1341 ସାଲର ଶେଷାର୍ଦ୍ଧ ଠାରୁ ସେ 1342 ସାଲର ପ୍ରଥମାର୍ଦ୍ଧ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ମଧ୍ୟ ପୁଣି ଏକକାଳୀନ ବାହାରେ ରହିଥିଲେ। ଏହା ସବୁ ବିଦାୟ ନିମିତ୍ତ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତି। ନିମ୍ନୋକ୍ତ ପତ୍ରରୁ ତାହାର ସୂକ୍ଷ୍ମ ଆଭାସ ମିଳିବ। ପୌଷ 4 ଦିନ ମଠରୁ ଲେଖିଲେ, ସମ୍ମିଳନୀରେ ମୋର ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ଏକାନ୍ତ ପ୍ରୟୋଜନ। ମଠାଶ୍ରମ ସମୂହର ଭାର ପୁନରାୟ ତ୍ରଷ୍ଟି ହସ୍ତରେ ଅର୍ପଣ କରି ମୁଁ ଅବସର ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବି। ସମ୍ମିଳନୀରେ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ନ ରହିଲେ ସେ ସୁବିଧା ମିଳିବ ନାହିଁ। ସେଥର ଯୋଡ଼ପାକଡ଼ି, ଜଲପାଇଗୁଡ଼ି ଆଶ୍ରମରେ ଭକ୍ତ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ ହୋଇଥିଲା। ତାହା 19 ବାର୍ଷିକ ଭକ୍ତ ସମ୍ମିଳନୀ। ତାଙ୍କ ନିର୍ବାଚିତ ପ୍ରଥମ ମଠାଧ୍ୟକ୍ଷ ବିଦାୟ ନେଇ ଥିବାରୁ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପୁନରାୟ କିଛି ଦିନ ପାଇଁ ମଠାଶ୍ରମ ସଂଘରେ ଜଡ଼ିତ ହେବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିଥିଲା। ଏଥର ନୂତନ ଭାବରେ ସେ ଭାର ପରିତ୍ୟାଗ କରିବାର ତନାଘନା ଆୟୋଜନ ଚାଲିଲା। ଫେବୃଆରୀ 16 ତାରିଖରେ ଠାକୁର ବେଲଘରିଆରୁ ପୁରୀ ଆସିଲେ। ମୁଁ, ମା ଓ ଅନ୍ନଦା ଭାଇ ତାଙ୍କ ସଙ୍ଗୀ ହେଲୁ। ସ୍କୁଲରୁ ଆଣି ମୋତେ ସେ ଗୃହରେ ପଢ଼ାଇ ମ୍ୟାଟ୍ରିକ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡ ଧରାଇ ଦେବାର ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା କଲେ। ପତ୍ର ଓ ମାସିକ ପତ୍ରିକା ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଦେଶ ବିଦେଶର ସବୁ ପ୍ରକାର ସମ୍ବାଦ ସଂଗ୍ରହ କରୁଥିଲେ। ତାହାରି ଜାଗତିକ ବ୍ୟାପାରରେ ଏତେ ଅଭିଜ୍ଞ ଥିଲେ ଯେ ଯୁକ୍ତି ସାହାଯ୍ୟରେ ଅନାୟାସେ ଭବିଷ୍ୟତବାଣୀ ପ୍ରକାଶ କରିପାରୁଥିଲେ। ଉଦାହରଣ ସ୍ୱରୂପ 1934 ଖ୍ରୀଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଦରେ ସେ କହିବାର ଶୁଣିଛି, ପୁଣି ଗୋଟିଏ ମହାଯୁଦ୍ଧ ଲାଗିବ ଏବଂ ସେହି ଯୁଦ୍ଧ ପରେ ଭାରତବର୍ଷ ସ୍ୱାଧୀନ ହେବ। ଏହି ଉକ୍ତିକୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଗଜ ଜ୍ଞାନ ସମ୍ଭୂତାନ କହି ପତ୍ର ପତ୍ରିକାକୁ ତନ୍ମ ଭାବରେ ପାଠ କରିବାର ଫଳ ବୋଲି କହିଲେ ଚଳିବ। ସେ ନିଜେ ମଧ୍ୟ ତାହା ହିଁ କହିଥିଲେ। ସେ କହିଥିଲେ, ଜଗତର ଗତି କେଉଁ ଆଡ଼କୁ ଚାଲିଛି ତାହା ପତ୍ର ପତ୍ରିକା ପାଠ କଲେ ଜଣାପଡ଼େ। ଯାହା ହେଉ, ସେ ଜାଣିଥିଲେ 1941 ଖ୍ରୀଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଦ ଠାରୁ କଲିକତା ବିଶ୍ୱବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟ ବଙ୍ଗଳା ଭାଷାରେ ମାଟ୍ରିକ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବ। ତାଙ୍କର ଇଚ୍ଛା ହେଲା ଯେଉଁ ବର୍ଷ ପ୍ରଥମେ ବଙ୍ଗଳା ଭାଷାରେ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ହେବ, ମୁଁ ଯେପରି ସେହି ବର୍ଷ ମାଟ୍ରିକ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଦେବି। ମୋର ଗୃହ ଶିକ୍ଷକ ସୁକ ମାମୁଙ୍କ ସଙ୍ଗରେ ଏ ବିଷୟରେ ଆଲୋଚନା କରି ତାଙ୍କୁ 2 ବର୍ଷ ପାଇଁ ଠାକୁର ପୁରୀକୁ ଆଣିବାର ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା କଲେ। ବାବା ପୁଣି ଆସିବା ପରେ 1340 ସାଲର ଉଲ୍ଲେଖଯୋଗ୍ୟ ଘଟଣା ହେଉଛି ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ଗୁରୁ ଭାଇ ଶ୍ରୀ ଚୈତନ୍ୟ ଚରଣ ଦାସଙ୍କ ଦୀକ୍ଷା ଗ୍ରହଣ। 1927 ମସିହାରେ। ଆଜ୍ଞା ଭାଇ।
हाँ जय भाई थाओ थाओ जय का नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ बहुत लंबा है एकदम माने
आज्ञा भाई
1.5 पेज खंडे कि 2 पेज
Jayaguru. To summarize what Bhai just read, in this section of the book, Ma has outlined a few significant events again. She starts with a small story where one morning while staying at a disciple's home, Thakur heard a faint pleading voice behind him. Thakur, they have tied me up. Turning around, he saw a small fair-skinned child bound to a tree, sweating under the harsh sun. Thakur immediately rushed over, untied him with his own hands and demanded to know who had done this. When the adults explained that the child was too naughty, Thakur firmly stopped them. Whatever he may do not tie him up anymore because he complained to me. Lilama reflects that this child was a virtuous soul who sought liberation from bondage at the right place, a symbolic moment revealing Thakur's instinctive protection of innocence. Another event Ma has elaborated is Thakur's long-awaited visit to Gadisar in 1340 Sal. The villagers had tried 2 years to raise 500 rupees for the Matha's renovation per Gyan Maharaj's directive, hoping this would bring Thakur to them. They managed only half the amount and were heartbroken until Thakur suddenly wrote that the honest call of Gadisar was drawing him and he would arrive on the 9th day of Kartik. Upon Thakur's arrival, a regional Sammelani was held at Gadisar. This had created a wave of joy across the villages within 10-mile radius. Day and night, thousands waited just to see him. Bhagyan Maharaj had the story recorded in a notebook called Purvabanga Bidoy. Ma mentioned that the heart-touching bandana that was composed by the member of Gadisar Sangha narrating Thakur's auspicious presence, Dhanya Hailo Dharani Tomar Batulo Charana Parasya. From Gadisar, he traveled to Sandip, where, as always, the entire island erupted in celebration. But the reception at Amilais was even more extraordinary. His own letter describes the journey was feeling like a global conquest, with people waiting on roads, ghats, and the river banks. In Chattogram alone, he stayed 15 days, often unable to meet all who came with tears and longing. He praised Bhuvan Bhai for his tirelessly ensuring his comfort amid overwhelming crowds, with gently noting that Pragyananda Maharaj sometimes scolded devotees unnecessarily. In Thakur's words, Bhuvan is capable of every way. There is no doubt that had Bhuvan not been with me, such a tour would have been impossible. These journeys took place just 2 years before Thakur's Mahaprayana. Much like the final tour of Sri Gauranga, people seem to sense, without being told, the sense that these visits were precious and perhaps the last. Their eagerness, devotion, and emotional intensity reflected this intuitive awareness. Ma describes Thakur's responsibility toward the Matha. After the departure of his chosen first Mahadakya, he had to resume administrative duties temporarily. He prepared to hand over the charge again during the 19th annual Bhakta Sammelani at Jalpaiguri. On February 16th, Thakur came to Puri from Bulgaria. Lilama, Annadabai, and others became his companions. He got Lilama released from school and arranged for her to study at home and catch up to the matriculation standard. Lilama mentioned earlier, Thakur used to collect all kinds of news from home and abroad through newspapers and monthly magazines. As a result, he was so experienced in worldly affairs that he could easily make some prophecies with the help of deep analysis. For example, Ma heard him say in 1934, another world war will break out, and after that war, India will become independent. Another deeply moving incident in the story is Chaitanya Bhai's Chaitanya Charan Das Bhai. Of course, we'll read that next time. Joy.
Jayaguru. Uditama. Uditama nahanti ki? Swapna bhai.
जयगुरु भाई शुभुनी जयगुरु
हाँ बा सुबिला बर्तन सुबिला बा
चरण तुम्हारा सरगु बळी क्यों सरगमु मखिबी क्यों सरगमु मखिबी चरण तुम्हारा सरगु बळी क्यों सरगमु मगिबी क्यों सरगमु मगिबी अन्य किछि पुण्य दिया कि न दिया अन्य किछि पुण्य दिया कि न दिया सिर सिरि पद परस पाऊ सिर सिरि पद परस पाऊ चरण तुम्हारा सरगु बळी क्यों सरगमु मगिबी क्यों सरगमु मगिबी तुम्हें सत्य शिव चिरा सुंदरा तिनी भुवन रतन सरा तुम्हें सत्य शिव चिरा सुंदरा तिनी भुवन रतन सरा मु तुमार प्रिय अमृत संतान मु तुमार प्रिय अमृत संतान इतिकी विश्वास मनरे थाऊ इतिकी विश्वास मनरे थाऊ चरण तुम्हारा सरगु बळी क्यों सरगमु मागिबे जगतकु देला अमूल्य धन तुम ज्ञान प्रेम मणि कंचन जगतकु देला अमूल्य धन तुम ज्ञान प्रेम मणि कांचन मूढ़ जान ठारू आहुरी मूढ़ामो मूढ़ जान ठारू आहुरी मूढ़ामो मुठारे किंचिते करुणा हेउ मुठारे किंचिते करुणा हेउ चरण तुम्हारा सरगु बळी केउ सरग मु मागिबी केउ सरग मु मागिबी बुणी देले तुमे करुणा मुठे सुखिला मरु रे कमल फुटे बुणी देले तुमे करुणा मुठे सुखिला मरु रे कमल फुटे सेही करुणा त कोटि कैबल्य सेही करुणा त कोटि कैबल्य गोटिए कणिका मो लागि थाउ गोटिए कणिका मो लागि थाउ चरण तुमारा सरगु बळी केउ सरग मु मागिबी केउ सरग मु मागिबी अन्य किछि पुण्य दिया कि न दिया अन्य किछि पुण्य दिया कि न दिया सिर सिर पद परस पाऊ सिर सिर पद परस पाऊ चरण तुमारा सरगु बळी केउ सरग मु मागिबी जय गुरु
Jai Guru, Yogi Guru, page 132. The king rules the kingdom. The warrior conquer war. He who control mind is the best among all so far. In fact, it is extremely difficult to control one's own mind. He who has control mind leads a very worthy and meaningful life. Mahatma Kabir Sahib has said, body stable, mind steady, voice tender, beauty silent. Thus, speaks Kabir, even a kalpa cannot match the splendor of the moment of time. Therefore, sadhaka will
never neglect to observe these rules and regulations during yoga sadhana. One more thing, when one engages himself in any sadhana, he has to keep it secret. Some sadhaka have such a nature that they go on speaking about sadhana to common people in order to get up of displaying their vanity and also achieve glory of their mind and fame. More so, some sadhaka, as soon as get a tiny hints about the result of sadhana, they become eager to speak it to people. There is no iota of doubt that it is shares a foolishness because sadhakas suffer a huge loss by doing it. Yogovira Mahadeva has said, the yogi who wants to attain the siddhi in yoga has to perform sadhana very secretly. If it is not revealed to anyone and kept secret, it becomes powerless and fruitless. If it is expressed before anyone, it becomes powerless and fruitless. You may perform sadhana in any manner, but it is natural that you will gradually experience some result. Even at the moment of departure from life, you will not reveal it to anyone. Moreover, sadhaka has to indulge in sadhana by surrounding all the fruits thereof to Bhagavan and depending completely on him. Bhagavan has himself told. Hence, if a sadhaka surrounded at the feet of Krishna in all respect and engage himself in sadhana with a deep faith and devotion, he will soon achieve splendid result because of by this thought, his bright light falls on the heart and produce a divine knowledge that makes the path of salvation fairly easy to traverse. Again, I tell you, remember, yogis should observe brahmacharya, that is, they will relinquish the company of women. They have to take a small quantity of food. That is, they will not take unlimited amount of food. They have to tyagi, sacrificing by nature. That is, they will not grow great interest of any worldly things. If they will practice yoga in such regulated condition, they will attain siddhi within a year. Hence, harassing the upper side is causing an obstacle of yoga. They should practice yoga in a secret place where all indriya, sense, antakarna, inner working component feel contained. The place to be cleaned and fresh cow dung and yogi facing north or east by making the place fragrant with a sweet smell of flower, sandalwood, dhupa, sit on the mat of kusa with a blanket on it or on with a tanned skin of tiger or deer and practice yoga with positive thought and a singular mind. Jayaguru. I interrupt?
ନାଇଁ ଭାଇ ବହୁତ ସମୟ ଅଛି, ପଢନ୍ତୁ ଜୟଗୁରୁ।
Okay. Practice of asana. To sit steadily and comfortably, it's called asana. In the scripture, in the scripture yoga is mention of 84 lakhs of asana. Padmasana is the best among them. Padmasana. So, place the right foot on the left thigh and left foot on the right thigh. Then cross both hands behind the back and hold right toe with the right hand and left toe with the left hand. Put the chin on the chest and fix is on the tips of the nose. To sit with this posture is called Padmasana. Padmasana is of two types, Mukta, open Padmasana, Bandha, closed Padmasana. To sit in the upper side, Padmasana is called Bandha Padmasana. Instead of holding toes with hand by crossing behind the back to put hand on the thigh with palm facing upward is known as Mukta Padmasana. By practicing Padmasana, a sadhaka wins over the fatigue of the body like sleep, laziness, and inaction, etc. Adhibasa, in fact, to activate the Kundalini and enrolls the sadhaka with a divine knowledge. If he puts the tips on the tongue at the foot of the teeth while sitting in the Padmasana, he will get rid of all sort of diseases. Siddhasana. There's the region between the anus and urinary organ with the help of the left foot and place the right foot tightly on the region of urinary organ. Then put the chin on the chest, keeping the body equally balanced, and fix the gaze of the region between the two eyebrows. That is, sit steadily without any motion in the posture is called Sivantara. To sit in the upper side manner is called Siddhasana. Siddhasana is very easy and simple asana to attain Siddhi. The success of yoga is attained very quickly by practicing Siddhasana. It is because Jiva and Kundalini Shakti are present based upon the linga, gentle organ. The passage of the air become easy and simply by Siddhasana. It facilitates the working of nervous and movement of the electric energy in the entire body. It is mentioned in the scripture of the yoga that Siddhasana opens the door of liberation and produces the state of inquiet characterized by research. Savasaktisana. To sit comfortably, placing the sole of both feet between the region of thighs and knee, that is, right foot inside the fold of the left knee and left foot between the fold of the right knee. By maintaining the appropriate balance of the body is called Savasaktisana. Siddhasana can attain Siddhi performing in the controlling breathing within a small span of time by practicing Vayu Siddhasana, control the breath, and Sivasaktisana, and then no disease can attack him, even any irregular practice of breath control. Apart from these three types of asana, there are also several asana: Vadhasana, Urasana, Virasana, Manda Muktasana, Kurmasana, Ukutasana, Uttasana, Yogasana, Sabhasana, Simhasana, Maya Usana, etc. There is no need to be wasting time by practicing various types of asana. The sadhaka should practice yoga by adopting the asana convenient to him out of outside their type of asana. Three types of asana. Many of these modern people with a Western education into the hyperstic laughter of hearing about asana. They say cannot They say, cannot anyone practice Siddhasana in the absence of such sitting posture? One can perform Siddhasana with any sitting posture he likes. What is needed of so much confusion? How can they understand the tattva principles hidden in it? The different thoughts emerge singularly from different sitting posture. Many of you even seen that people sit learning the check on the hand, in the grip, or worries, or despair. At that time, it is natural to sit with that posture, and it is useful for the type of thoughts. The enlightened yogi opens that the body and the mind have a special relation with different asana in different sadhasana. One more thing, to sit in one posture for the long time during the practice of yoga is the primary function of yoga, but it is not possible if sadhaka sit as he likes. So there is a necessity of asana. During the practice of yoga, the physical function which operate or nerve flow, which is new manner to the new path, happen inside the path. Therefore, this work within the accomplished. ଭାଇଟିକା ମୋର ସ୍କାନ୍ କଟି ଯାଇଛି, ମୁଁ ଏଇଠି ରଖୁଛି। ପ୍ରିଣ୍ଟିଂଟା ଠିକ୍ ହେଇନି ଭାଇ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୁଁ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ୍ କରିଦଉଛି। Therefore, this work which is accomplished well by keeping the backbone in the right manner and position is only done by the credible method of asana. The manner how the backbone, chest, neck, head, and ribs should be kept is determined in the method of sitting posture of respective asana. If asana is practiced, there is no need of learning anything. No need of learning anything else for that. Especially attainment of siddhi in asana is not that difficult. It is practiced carefully for a few days. If it is practiced carefully for a few days, it will ensure success. Out of aforesaid three types of asana, a sadhaka should practice an asana which will not be painful. When he experiences joy while practicing the chosen asana, instead of getting any pain in the body, he will know that he has attained siddhi in the practice of asana. Yoga sadhana will begin after the thorough practice of asana. Very well. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. The discussion and question and answer. प्राय वर्षे खंड है क्वेश्चन तो आसुनी तेणु आंसर किसी मिलूनी. So I don't know, I haven't talked to Brother Bhai, but I was thinking those of us who are reading books, we'll start with them. If you have any questions, if they don't have questions, we can ask them questions because they understood everything they read. So we'll start with the Vishnu this time. No. Let's discuss what we read in the morning. आरंभ करचंती कहिकरी जे प्रार्थनाकारी भक्त माने भक्तंकर सुलभ गुण राशि निज अंतर रे प्रकाशित हैला परे करिया पई चेष्टा करिवे. से भक्त सुलभ गुण राशि गुडी को कोन एठी लिस्ट करा हेनी. ताकू हमरो मोस्टली ठाकुर प्रेम गुरु लिखिचंती गीतारू उद्धार करिकरी 12 अध्याय 13 नंबर श्लोक रु 20 नंबर श्लोक अद्वैता स्वरूपेण मैत्र करुणा में वच निर्मम निरहंकार इत्यादि इत्यादि. आधरे 36 टा गुण अछि. से 36 टा गुण रु गोटे दुटा गुण भी जदि हमें फॉलो करिबा ताहले ये भक्ति पथ रे हमें टिके आगे परिबा. एठी कहउचंती जे भक्त माने गुणर अधिकारी हेले निर्गुण परमधन को प्राप्त होई परिबे. जसमान अधिकारी न हेबे निर्गुण परमधन जे हमर गुरु महाराज तांको हमें प्राप्त होई परिबा नहीं, तांको हमें जानी परिबा नहीं. आउ टिके आगु कहउचंती
ତାଙ୍କ ଧ୍ୟାନରେ ଲୟ ହେଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ଗୁଣ ରାଶି ଭକ୍ତମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ପ୍ରକାଶିତ ହୁଏ। ପ୍ରଥମ କଥା ହେଲା ଆମେ ସେ ଗୁଣର ଅନୁଶୀଳନ କରିକି ଗୁଣକୁ ଆହରଣ କରିପାରିବା, କିମ୍ବା ତାଙ୍କ ଧ୍ୟାନ କରିବା। ତାଙ୍କ ଧ୍ୟାନ କଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ଗୁଣ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଆମ ଭିତରେ ଆସିବ। ତାପରେ ଆଉ ଯାହା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସାଂଖ୍ୟ କଥା ଛାଡ଼ନ୍ତୁ, ତାଙ୍କର କରୁଣା ସବୁବେଳେ ଆମଠାରେ ସମଭାବରେ ବର୍ଷିତ ହେଉଛି। ଯେମିତି ଆମେ ବହୁତ ଥର ଡିସ୍କସନ୍ କରିଛେ ଆଗରୁ, ଧରନ୍ତୁ ମାଠିଆଟେ ଅଛି, ମାଠିଆଟା ପାଣି ଭର୍ତ୍ତି କଲେ ପାଣିଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ବର୍ଷାଟା ହେଉଛି ମାଠିଆ ମୁହଁଟା ତା ଉପରକୁ ରହିବା ଦରକାର। ବର୍ଷାଟା ସବୁ ଏକା ସେଇ ଏରିଆରେ ସମଭାବରେ ବର୍ଷା ହେବ, କିନ୍ତୁ ମାଠିଆଟା ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ ଜାଗାରେ ଅଛି, ତା ମୁହଁଟା ଯଦି ଉପରକୁ ଥିବ ତାହେଲେ ପାଣିଟା ଭର୍ତ୍ତି ହେଇଯିବ। ଆମ ଆଧାରଟା ହେଲା ସେଇ ମାଠିଆ। ଆମେ ଯଦି ପୁରୁଷାକାର ବଳରେ ଆମ ନିଜ ଚେଷ୍ଟାରେ ମୁହଁଟାକୁ ଉପରକୁ କରିଦେବା, ତାଙ୍କ କରୁଣା ଯେତେବେଳେ ବର୍ଷୁଛି ସେ ମାଠିଆ ଭର୍ତ୍ତି ହେଇଯିବ। ଗୋଟିଏ ଜିନିଷ ଆମକୁ ମନେ ରଖିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ, ତା ଦେହରେ ଏଠି ଲେଖା ହେଇନି, ସେଟା ହେଲା ମାଠିଆରେ କଣା ନଥିବା ଦରକାର। ଯଦି କଣା ଥିବ ତାହେଲେ ପାଣି ଯେତେ ଭର୍ତ୍ତି ହେବ ସେ ବୋହି ଚାଲିଯିବ, ଆଉ ସେ କଣାଟି ହେଲା ଅପରାଧ। ଅପରାଧ ବର୍ଜିତ ହେବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବ। ଆଉ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୁଣ ସଦ୍ଗୁଣ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଅବଲମ୍ବନ କଲେ ଭକ୍ତି ଆମ ଭିତରେ ବର୍ଦ୍ଧିତ ହେବ। ସେଠି କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସତ୍ୟ ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ଜ୍ଞାନର ଅବସ୍ଥା ସତ୍ୟ। ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଭକ୍ତମାନେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେପରି ତୁମ କର୍ତ୍ତୃତ୍ୱ ସୁରକ୍ଷିତ ହୋଇ ଆମେ କର୍ମରେ ଆତ୍ମନିୟୋଗ କରୁ ସେ ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା କରିଦିଅ। ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ ସବୁଦିନେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ବି କରୁଛେ, ଆତ୍ମଜ୍ଞାନ ପ୍ରଦାନ ସେ ଗୁରୁ ଆମକୁ ଆତ୍ମଦାନ ପ୍ରଦାନ କରନ୍ତି। ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେଇ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନାଟା କରୁଛେ ଯେ ଆପଣ ଆମକୁ ଆତ୍ମଦାନ ପ୍ରଦାନ କରନ୍ତୁ। ଆଉ ଆତ୍ମଦାନ ପ୍ରଦାନ କରିବା ବି ତାଙ୍କର ଇଚ୍ଛା, ସେଇପାଇଁ ସେ ରେଡ଼ି ହେଇକି ବସିଛନ୍ତି। ଆମକୁ ଖାଲି ରେଡ଼ି ହେବାର ଅଛି, ଯୋଉଟାକୁ ଆମର ଜେନେରାଲି ଚିତ୍ତ ଶୁଦ୍ଧିର ପଥ ବୋଲି କୁହାଯାଏ। ଆମ ଚିତ୍ତଟା ଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଲେ ତାପରେ ସେ ମାଠିଆକୁ ଯଦି ଯିବେ, ମାଠିଆ ମୁହଁଟାକୁ ଉପରକୁ କଲେ ପାଣିଟା ଯାଇ ତା ଭିତରେ ପଡ଼ିବ। ଚିତ୍ତଟା ଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଇଗଲେ ସେ ଆତ୍ମଜ୍ଞାନ ଦାନ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଅପେକ୍ଷା କରି ବସିଛନ୍ତି, ସେଟା ଆମ ଭିତରେ ସଞ୍ଚାରିତ ହେଇଯିବ। ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଆଗରେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଭକ୍ତି ହେଉଛି ଯୁଗ ଧର୍ମ, ଏହା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଜ୍ଞାନ ଯୋଗ ସଫଳ ହୁଏ। ତେଣୁ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଭକ୍ତି ପଥ ଅବଲମ୍ବନ କରି ଚାଲିବା, ଯୋଉଟାକି ଠାକୁର ଆମକୁ ନିର୍ଦ୍ଦେଶ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି, ତା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଆମର ଜ୍ଞାନ ଲାଭ ବି ହୁଏ। ଆମର ଜୀବନ ବାଣୀରେ ବହୁତ ଦିନ ତଳେ ଥରେ ପଢ଼ିଥିଲି, ଠାକୁର କହୁଛନ୍ତି ତୁମର ହେଲା ଭକ୍ତି ମାର୍ଗ। ତା ଅର୍ଥ ନୁହେଁ ଯେ କର୍ମଜ୍ଞାନ ଭକ୍ତି ଖାଲି ଭକ୍ତିକୁ ଧରିବ, କର୍ମଜ୍ଞାନକୁ ଉପେକ୍ଷା କରିବ। ସିଏ ଭକ୍ତି ମାର୍ଗରେ ଯିବା, କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମର ଠାକୁର କିଏ, କାହିଁକି ଆସିଛନ୍ତି, କ'ଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ସେ ଜ୍ଞାନଟା ଆମର ଥିବା ଦରକାର। ଆଉ ତାଙ୍କର କାମ କରିବା ଦରକାର, ତାଙ୍କ ସେବା କରିବା ଦରକାର। ଏହା ସହିତ ଭକ୍ତିଟା ଯଦି ମିଶିବ ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ସେ ବାଟରେ ଟିକେ ଆଗକୁ ଯାଇପାରିବା। 2 ମିନିଟ୍ ଅଛି, so I will take a pause and see in case anybody has a question. ଯେଉଁ ସଂଘ ସେବକ ମନେ ରଖ ବି ପଢ଼ା ହେଲା, ମନେ ରଖରେ ବଡ଼ ସୁନ୍ଦର କଥା ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି। ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଭଗବାନଙ୍କୁ ଉପଲବ୍ଧି କରନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ହେଲେ ମହାପୁରୁଷ। ସେ ଅନୁଭବ ପାଇଁ ଜୀବର ସାଧନ ଭଜନ ଦରକାର। ଆଉ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଯାଇକରି ସାଧନ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଆତ୍ମସ୍ୱରୂପ ଉପଲବ୍ଧି ହେଲେ ଜୀବ ଇହ ଜଗତରେ ଥାଇ ନିଜକୁ ବ୍ରହ୍ମଲୋକବାସୀ ବୋଲି ଅନୁଭବ କରେ। ସେହି ସମୟରେ ତାର ଆତ୍ମା ପରମାତ୍ମା ସହିତ ଯୁକ୍ତ ହୋଇଥାଏ। ଯେଉଁଟା ଯୋଗର ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ, ଆତ୍ମା ପରମାତ୍ମାଙ୍କ ଉପାସନା କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବୋଲି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ, ସେ ଆତ୍ମା ଯେତେବେଳେ ପରମାତ୍ମାଙ୍କ ସହିତ ଯୁକ୍ତ ହୋଇଯାଏ ସେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ବୋଧଟା ହୁଏ। ସେ ବୋଧଟା କେମିତି ହେବ? ଯୋଗ ମାର୍ଗରେ ହୁଏ, ଜ୍ଞାନରେ ଆଲୋଚନା କଲେ ବି ହୁଏ, ଶ୍ରବଣ ନିଧ୍ୟାସନ କରିକି ହୁଏ, କିମ୍ବା ଭକ୍ତି ମାର୍ଗରେ ବି ସେଇ ଅବସ୍ଥା ପ୍ରାପ୍ତ ହୁଏ। ତେଣୁ ସେଇ ଅବସ୍ଥା ପ୍ରାପ୍ତ ହେବା ପାଇଁ କ'ଣ କରିବା? ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା କରିବା, ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ସେବା କରିବା। ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ବେସିକାଲି ଆମର ପୁରା ଜୀବନଟା ଯଦି ଆମେ କହିବା ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଛଡ଼ା ଆଉ କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ଆମେ ଯାହା କିଛି କାମ କରୁଛେ ସେ ଦାୟିତ୍ୱଟା ସେ ଆମକୁ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି। ପିଲାଟିକୁ ବଢ଼େଇବା, ଅଫିସରେ ଯାଇ ଟିକେ କାମ କରିବା, ଇତ୍ୟାଦି ଇତ୍ୟାଦି ଯାହା ଆମେ ସବୁ କରୁଛେ। ଆଉ ଯେଉଁ କାମରେ ଠାକୁର ନାହାନ୍ତି ସେ କାମଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଅକର୍ମ ବୋଲି ଭାବିବା। ଆଜି ସକାଳେ ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ବୋଲୁଛେ ବନ୍ଦଇ ଗୁରୁ ଚରଣ, ତା ଦେହରେ ଅଛି ବାକି ସବୁ କାମ ଅକର୍ମ ଭାବି ସେ କର୍ମ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ତ୍ୟାଗ କରି ଯେଉଁ କର୍ମରେ ଠାକୁର ଯୁକ୍ତ ହୋଇ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେଇ କର୍ମ କରିବା। କରୁ କରୁ ଧୀରେ 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 ଚିତ୍ତଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଇଯିବ। ଚିତ୍ତଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଇଗଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ତ କରୁଣା ବହୁତ ଆମ ଉପରେ ପଡ଼ିଯିବ, କିଛି ଆଉ ଆମକୁ ବେଶୀ କିଛି ତାପରେ କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼ିବନି। ଯାହା ହଉ ଆମର ସମୟ ହେଇଯାଇଛି। Let's pause here and move to our young aspirant session. Ashrita, you have Prarthana Sangita when you are ready. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Magunai dana jano magu chimo shana magunai dana jano magu chimo shana Jani mahi jaro nahi tume jiva karana Jani mahi jaro nahi tume jiva karana magunai dana jana magu chimo shana nai nai kehe moyo e sansara maya goyo nai nai kehe moyo e sansara maya goyo Magunai dana jana magu chimo shana Chitae chinti bimoli tande jibe bichali Chitae chinti bimoli tande jibe bichali Chanchana ek chinta thai kai sada bhana Chanchana ek chinta thai kai sada bhana Magunai dana jana magu chimo shana Etiki karuna kara kanthe mora surabaya Etiki karuna kara kanthe mora surabaya Sabu boli tumara ko jivi jana Sabu boli tumara ko jivi jana Magunai dana jana magu chimo विजिकार प्रतीक आछि तुम लागि आसना मागु नाई दाना जाना मागु चिनु शयना मागु नाई दाना जाना मागु चिनु शयना गयकाई जगताई थिबे तुम्हारी दुआर गयकाई जगताई थिबे तुम्हारी दुआर उदास होने से बुझिबे तुम चरण उदास होने से बुझिबे तुम चरण मागु नाई जाना मागु चिनु शरण मागु नाई जाना मागु चिनु शरण जाना जाना मागु चिनु शरण चढ़ी गोरी चढ़ो नाही तुम्हें जीवा करो मागु नाई जाना जाना मागु चिनु शरण मागु नाई जाना जाना मागु चिनु शरण
Jayaguru, aspirants will start with attendance, and then I will ask Ashrita to explain the meaning of the song she sang. Aditi?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Adhibasa? Aisi?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Anhik?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Ansh?
Jayaguru Ma, just coming.
Jayaguru. Anshul? Arnav?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Aryan?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Ashrita?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Jamo?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Divyam? Timmy?
Muba, 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 Mubari,
Jagat?
Muba,
Jayaguru. Netik?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Nivriti? Pratyusha?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Pratyush?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Prayushi?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Sanvi?
Jayaguru Ma. Bosini.
Jayaguru. Saranya?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Saraswat? Charlotte?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Sarthak? Bobby?
This is Halloween.
Shilpi? Shreyasi?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Simran?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Shrija?
Jayaguru Ma.
Jayaguru. Suhani? Yukta?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Siddhi?
Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Jayaguru, everyone. Is there anyone that came in after? Or I missed? Well, Ashrita, can you go ahead and explain the meaning of the song you sang?
Jayaguru, this song teaches that money, things, and worldly happiness do not stay forever. Sometimes our mind runs everywhere and forgets what is truly important, just like a naughty elephant that does not listen. The song says that God and Guru are like true friends who stay with us in good and bad times. It asks us to keep love, kindness, prayer, and good thoughts in our heart instead of worrying too much about the world. The song reminds us that real peace comes from remembering God and doing good things with a pure heart. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. Those are all very important things for us to remember. It's a beautiful song. I mean, we have Thakura in our lives. So we're all lucky to have him in our lives and be aware of that. And we'll speak more on it today as when we do the reading. But there's a way that we can honor his place in our lives and be the good humans he wants us to be. And that's mostly what we'll talk about today. But before we get into it, I want to acknowledge today is Mother's Day. And we've talked about this some before, but in general, tying it to place Thakura has in our lives. But to start with, what role do our mothers have in our lives? Charlotte, what role do our mothers have in our lives?
Jayaguru, mothers are the ones who take care of us and teach us lessons, and they're also the ones that are always there for us, no matter when and what's happening. Jayaguru.
Our mothers take care of us, they guide us, they teach us. No matter what's going on, they're always with us and taking care of us. So then how is that similar to that's what our mothers do? Siddhi, how is it like our relationship with our mothers and what our mothers do for us? How is that similar to Thakura's place in our life?
Jayaguru, they help us with studying and like some other stuff to help us learn, and just how we took our first steps.
I agree. Our mothers do all of that for us. And then I see, how is that similar to Thakura's place in our life? Our mothers are there for everything for us. They take care of us. They nurture us. How is that? Can you think of any similarities to that to Thakura's place in our lives?
Jayaguru, yeah. A mother is someone who cares for us, guides us, and protects us, and helps us grow. And Thakura helps us grow spiritually and helps us become a better person and leads us on the right path, as our mothers also do and help us grow. Thakura also helps us grow spiritually and as a better person. Jayaguru.
Right. I mean, we cherish our mothers. They're here in our daily lives. They're physically taking care of us. And I know a lot of times we talk about Thakura and how he is everything for us and how he is there for us. He takes care of us. He's always with us. And when we talk about what that means and how that relationship is, sometimes it's helpful for us to think about it in the same way that we think about the relationships we have in our daily lives that are more tangible. And so a lot of those feelings and that unconditional love that we feel from our mothers that also is one way we can think of the love that Thakura has for us and the guidance that he gives us. He also takes that role, and then especially on that spiritual path, he is caring for us in that same way. And that's where we leave that today. But so we're going to go ahead and read more. We're reading from Amikachai, so what I expect. It's a collection of advice from Thakura. So today we're going to continue on reading that, advice 19 and 20. So for advice 19, Shree, would you mind reading advice 19 for us?
Yeah. Advice 19. You are not so much concerned for your work on the monastery or religious organizations, but you are to work among the people leading a domestic life. The monastery and the ashrams will be the place of your rest and the source of your spiritual energy. From there, by collecting energy and being inspired with the ideas of Thakura, rush to the people leading a domestic life so as to awaken them spiritually. Light the light of hope in the life of despair. Be united as one soul like brothers. Commingle your heart with theirs and raise them up by inspiring them with a blissful message. It is my mission that there should grow ideal families in the country, and for this purpose you should try and help in all respects. This will be the sole work for you. Chika.
Jayaguru, thank you for reading that for us. So going into it, what is, so he mentions the work of a monastery or an ashram. So what kind of work happens in these religious places like an ashram or a monastery? Jagra, what kind of work happens in these religious centers? Jagratha, are you there? Nitik, what kind of work happens in like in a monastery or ashram?
Jayaguru, there's usually a lot of prayer and a lot of meditation, and I think like a lot of self-reflection on yourself. Jayaguru.
So they're religious centers, they're spiritual centers, and all of the work going on is you're doing meditation, you're doing prayers, and you're focused solely on the spiritual aspects of life. But you know, those are places we visit. We do similar things when we go to our asana mandir. But Thakura says, you know, we're not going to be spending our whole lives within these religious organizations and these religious spots. That's not the place that he wants us to be our entire lives. Where does Thakura tell us we should be living our lives? Simran, where does Thakura tell us we should be living our lives?
Grandma, I think we should live our lives in a domestic, excuse me, in a place near Thakura where we can pray to him and do meditation with him and grow ideal families in the country, Jika.
Okay, so we should be living our lives keeping Thakura close to us, but we should be living out in our mundane material world that we are born into. So unlike sannyasis who, that live in the which you can translate as monks, who live in the monastery and they only do the religious work, we are to live domestic lives. So we keep Thakura with us, we pray to him, we go to his mandir, we pray to him at home, we keep him near and dear to our hearts, but he still wants us to live in this world, in doing living our domestic lives. So in our families, if you guys go to school, your parents have jobs, and we're living a day-to-day domestic life. We're not all living in a monastery, but we should be keeping him near and dear to us as we live in that way. So even though he wants us living our normal lives, like, we are still going to be going to these religious places. We're still going to be going, some of you go to Bhattacakra, some we go to Samalani, we go to we go to the Asana Mandir. What do we gain from going to religious sites or gathering together for prayer and for spiritual practice? Yukta, what do we get from, what does Thakura want us to gain from spending time in religious sites and in religious gatherings?
Jayaguru, when we spend more time on religious sites or religious gatherings, we gain more insight on Thakura's lifestyle. Jayaguru.
I agree. Yeah, we learn more about him. We might feel more connected to him, and we might feel that kind of spiritual energy that we feel when we all gather together and we're all focused on something spiritual. Or I know a lot of you have talked about when you go to Asana Mandir, you can feel closer to Thakura in those ways. And so we can gain a lot of that spiritual knowledge and some guidance on that spiritual path from spending time in these religious and spiritual places. And so with that religious and spiritual energy, what does Thakura want us to do with the spiritual energy we gain from spending time with him, praying to him, going to these religious sites, gathering together like we do now for Sangha Puja and Bhattacakras and other pujas that we might go to or attend? Ansh, what does Thakura want us to do with all of that spiritual energy and guidance that we gain from attending all of these, going to all of these religious outlets?
Jayaguru, I think he just wants us to focus our spiritual energy on him, focus it while we live our householder life. We just keep praying to Thakura. In the meantime, kind of streamlining our making all the aspects of our life lean towards him. Jayaguru.
He wants us to apply everything we learn to our day-to-day lives, right? He wants us to live in this world where we're meant to be householders. Not everyone in the world needs to be a monk, but we can still make great spiritual progress in our daily lives by applying his teachings to how we live and how we interact with people. And so he tells us specifically that he wants us, when we lead a domestic life, he says that he wants us to lead in a domestic life so as to awaken them, other people, spiritually, and light the light of hope in the life of despair. So what do you think that means? When he says we can enlighten people by living the domestic life the way that he says, following his teachings, and we can light hope in a life of despair. Anhik, what do you think Thakura is talking about there?
Trigger, I think he's saying that when people are going through rough times, you should be there for them, and we should try to awaken and guide them spiritually. Trigger.
I agree. That's what he's saying. And follow up on that, Anhik. How do we do that? What do you think he's saying about how we support people and how we share that spirituality with people?
Jayaguru, we should, I guess, like try to inspire them and like show them like the path towards spirituality. Jayaguru.
I agree. By living the path of spirituality and following his teachings and applying them in our day-to-day lives. So like when we're there for people and we're supporting them because that's the right thing to do, that can make a huge difference for someone. And it's not necessarily, we're not sitting down and saying these are Thakura's teachings, but just living our lives in that spiritual way, in a way that we can support others in and knowing ourselves, knowing those things. All of that can make us better at supporting others and light that bring that spiritual energy and that joy into lives that, you know, there are a lot of hardships that happen in life, and that can help us get through them ourselves, but then also help those around us get through that as well. And finally, one of the things he says is that he wants us to be united as one soul, like brothers, commingle our hearts with theirs and raise them up by inspiring with a blissful message. So what do you think he's asking us to do when he tells us to commingle our hearts and be like brothers? Aditi?
Jayaguru, I think that he's asking you to like share all of the spiritual teachings that you've learned and like kind of like use that to teach them like how they can become a better person and like they can like have better values. Jayaguru.
So in one sense, yeah, we can come together and share our values and help each other up that way. How else, like thinking all of us together in this group, how can we be like brothers and commingle our hearts? Aryan?
Jayaguru, could you please repeat the question?
Yes. So like thinking specifically about us as a group, so all of us in the Sangha Aspirant session, all of us in the Sangha, how would we commingle our hearts or be like brothers? Like what do you think Thakura is asking of us all together?
Jayaguru, I think Thakura is asking us to have compassion for each other, and he's wanting us to motivate us to help each other along our spiritual path because we all have the same end goal. And so having compassion and wanting to help other people along their path, I think, is what he's getting at. Jayaguru.
Okay, that's another important aspect of that. We're all learning, we're all on this path, us in this group, outside of this group, and he wants us to kind of be united in our goal of being on the spiritual journey. So having that compassion for each other, listening to each other, helping each other out, asking for help of each other, being united in that way on that goal can make it a lot easier for us to tread on this path. With that, let's move on to advice 20. Jeeth, would you mind reading advice 20 for us?
Jayaguru, advice 20. If you are not united in the external work, how can you be united spiritually in your internal mind? The immersion of yourself in me and the immersion of yourself in my work is one and the same.
Dedicate yourself as a sacrifice at the altar of my work. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru, thank you for reading that for us. So with this, Jimmy, what do you think he means by when he talks about our external work versus our internal work, that needing to be united in external so we can be united spiritually in our internal mind? What do you think he's talking about?
Sure, it's basically saying that, like, if you're not united in your external work and like your internal work, then like you won't be like your immersion in yourself and me will not be like actually happen unless you actually like unite both your external world and internal world. Jayaguru?
I agree, yeah, it's important. Your external world, the things that you do, like physically do out in the world, how you're interacting, how you're purporting yourself outside. If that's not aligned with your values and the internal spiritual work that you're doing, then you're not really going to be able to do, you're not really going to be able to make that progress internally. So with that idea, what else do we have here? Pratish, what are some ways that we can, what are some ways we can think of that align the work that we do outside with our spiritual inner work that we try to do?
Jayaguru, first I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. But on the question of how to align ourselves, I feel like it's just your mindset when you're doing your work. Always be thinking about like doing it for a good purpose or having good means in your heart. Jayaguru?
I agree. Yeah. If we think about the things we do day to day, and as we have to make decisions, if we're thinking about aligning that with our heart, what is a good thing to do, what aligns with our values, what are positive things for us to do, all of that will guide us. That if we're given options on things to do, we all have certain duties, right? You have school and clubs and other aspects of your life, and you have friends and how you interact with them. Whenever you are given something in a new situation, you should be thinking positively about how do I approach any situation with that positive mindset, and what can I do to make that positive impact. So with that, we are out of time, and we have Bhava Vinaya today by Aditi. So Aditi, when you're ready. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru, today is my Bhava Vinaya Seva. I'm almost finished with my junior year of high school and about to become a senior. This school year has been filled with many moments where I was stressed about exams and other responsibilities, but I learned to depend on Thakura throughout all of it. During stressful times where I was uncertain about the outcome, I would make sure to try my best and leave the rest to Thakura because I know that he will do what is best for me. By learning to depend on Thakura for every situation, I felt more relaxed and stopped worrying about the future. Last week during Y session, I found myself reflecting on my spiritual identity and how well I'd been following Thakura's teachings as I wrote an article about who I was when no one is watching. I realized that there were several values that Thakura said that I always followed in my daily life, but there was also teachings of his that I can continue to learn from. As I complete this school year and go through high school, I pray to Thakura to guide me in the right path. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru, Pranappriya Thakur Maharaj, Bhai Mao Pillamani, आज विश्व मातृ दिवस रे ठाकुर पाळी देइचंती कि भाषा रे कृतज्ञता जणाइबी मोर ठाकुर जीवन रे से ही पिता माता सब किछि से मो बापा तो परपरिक 9 वर्ष है चली गले आ बहुत भी वृद्ध हो गलानी किंतु ठाकुर होचंती नित्य पिता नित्य माता ठाकुर छड़ा आमर साहा भरसा किसी नहांती वर्षटा आरंभ होती संघर वार्षिक उत्सव रे जोग देकी आमे इंडिया गलु प्रथम जाकि पहुँचली तो सांगे सांगे 14 दिन टोटाल इंडिया रे रहिलु से भितर जहाँ सब ठाकुर को प्रार्थना करथिली ठाकुर सब करदेले जाइकी पहुँचली तो बापांकर थिला नवम श्राद्ध वार्षिक सांगे सांगे जाइकी एयरपोर्ट पर 2 घंटा पर जॉइन कलु तापरे हमर सम्मेलन रे पाळीमिया हुए केबे इठी सब आमे थाओ एथर किंतु पूरा स्मृति मंदिर रे पूरा हमर जो संघर जो पाळी आमे सब नै थाओ सम्मेलन रे दिनिकिया पाळी पूरा सकाळ ठू पूरा राति पर्यंत रही विभिन्न भोग दर्शन प्रसाद सब मिलला से सुजोग मिलला तापरे अमेरिका सारस्वत संघ तरफ भी एकाम्र संघ आमे ठाकुर को अभ्यर्थना कर पारलु तापरे सब इच्छा थिला बहुत प्रार्थना करथली पद्मराग जयंती सम्मेलन जोगदा पई ठाकुर भी करई नेले आ बहुत दिन हम ठाकुर आमर मो शास्त्र सब चाहती केमती ठाकुर सम्मेलन रू जीवासवा पटरे केमती घर को आसतु बहुत वर्ष है एथर भी ठाकुर कृपा करके भी करदेले सब भक्त गहन रे ठाकुर विजय कले तापर किंतु आमर सब विभिन्न ठाकुर तो विभिन्न संघ को भाई माँ मान घर को जाऊे मु सब जन कि मुझे जीवी एथर आम पर पुणी राति पूरा बेगुनिया आम शाशुघर गाँव जबार थिला आम से दिन आम घर को जो दिन ठाकुर आसते से दिन माने भोर 3टार उठिकी आम सब लगी पड़ू भावुली जीविना जीविनी जहाँ किंतु बेगुनिया पुणी गलु ये भितर माने प्रति मुहूर्त ठाकुर चिंता साधु संग प्रसाद नाम कीर्तन आते अमृत एत शांति लगुए किंतु से भितर मोर देह कष्ट भी चलता पाद फुली जाए आड़े आंटीबायोटिक खाऊए विभिन्न मेडिसिन खाऊए शोला माने शोए जहाँ 2-3 घंटा खाली का शोए तेणु शोई भी पार न थाए किंतु मनटा सब खुशी लगुए एत माने जहाँ चाहूली सब करदेले ठाकुर एत संघ एत बुलिलु एत बढ़िया लगे ठाकुर कौन कहि आसला एबे पुणी तो आमर सब सम्मेलन प्रिपेरेसन सब चललानी मैगजीन सेवा भी आरंभ हो गलानी ठाकुर को सब प्रार्थना करे ठाकुर तुम इच्छा आम ये संसार को आसीचु जहाँ कि सब तुमरी दान जमती तुमको कि कौन आम दे पारू तेरा तुझको अर्पण क्या लगे मेरा मत सब से भावे ठाकुर असीम कृपारू माने ठाकुर सब मु भावे कि साधु संग मिलू मत बही पढ़िले ठाकुर बही पढ़िले कि शुणिले बहुत भल लगे ये सेमती बहुत सुजोग मिलूँ आम तो बहुत ग्रंथ आणिकी रखीचु किंतु भावुची एथर केमती टिके अधिक समय देवी स्वाध्याय इंडिया जो स्वाध्याय ये हूँ भी शुणुची जिते आम समय मिलूँ शुणुचु बहुत भल लगुच ठाकुर सेवा ही आम जीवन लक्ष्य गौरंग महाप्रभु कहते जीवर स्वरूप है कृष्ण नित्यदास ठाकुर से स्वरूप ज्ञानटा सब रहू माया जमती मनटा विचलित न हो जाऊ गुरु कृपा विभिन्न प्रकार अनुकूल कृपा प्रतिकूल कृपा सब जे सुखरे जीवनटा चलीज सेमती ना ठाकुर से सब अनुभव करछि किंतु भाविछि जे देखिछि ठाकुर प्रतिकूल कृपारे भी ठाकुर केमती पाखे पाखे थांती सब आमर मुरबी होकर रही शशुर सब कहती सब ठाकुर को धरी था से बयस हो गलानी बेसी किसी सेवा आम भी करपारनु मन दुख हुए कथा हेले बहुत भल लगे सब कहती ठाकुर आमर मुरबी ठाकुर को सब जन था सब धैर्य होता जहाँ ठाकुर असीम कृपारू एमती एक भक्त परिवार को मुझी कौन कहि ठाकुर पाखे सब तो से सब देती मुझे मन लाखी सेविका टे हो पारि आउ केमती निजर मनुष्यतर साधना पथर आउ टे अग्रसर हो पारि से सम्मेलन भी से प्रार्थना करके आसली कि आहरी केमती अधिक सेवा कर मनन ध्यान केमती सब ठाकुर रही पारे साधु संघ सब प्रार्थना करे एथर ये सोमवार दिन आमर सागलोट को आसते स्वामी सर्वप्रियानंद बहुत यंग साधु वेदांतिक रामकृष्ण परमहंस ये भावुली जीविना जीविनी सोमवार आसुँच हिंदू मंदिर को जीविना जीविनी मो सांग मोर नेबर कहला सीता आस सांगे सांग तो कहली ना निश्चय जीवी से सांग मोर एत भल सांग जो आम भक्ति हाईस्कूल पढ़ुला सब कह भक्ति तो कहीदे मो नंबर दे तू जब आफ्टर स्कूल न आनी पार मो नहीं आसबी तांकर भी सेमती सब जिते सेवा द्वारा केमती आनंद आम जो टॉपिकटा शुणिलु द क्वेस्ट फॉर हैप्पीनेस बहुत भल लगिला से दिन मो देह भी भल लगुन उद्देश्य थिला किंतु सब बड़े भावे जे केमती साधु संग हेले केमती पड़े जीवी और एमती भी ठाकुर सुजोग देले जे प्रथम फास्ट माने थर्ड लाइन रे पूरा बसिली फास्ट चल माने एते पूरा पाखरे बसिकी सब शुणिली देह सब पूरा देह पूरा भल लगिला से मुझे जानिली जे माने मोर जमती माने एमती जो ठाकुर सेवा ठाकुर कथा शुणी ठाकुर बाणी शुणी एमती शुणिले माने मो आई फिल माने पूरा एनर्जाइज्ड इंडिया रे खाइबा कम थिला निद नथिला किंतु एटी सब जो ठाकुर पूजा ठाकुर कथा शुणा आ ठाकुर भक्तर सानिध्य से मत एमती बहुत आनंद लगुला हेमा चली गले केते गेला करथिले देखिले एते माने जाहो देखि पारली आई सब एमती धीरे धीरे समस्त संसार चली जिवे समस्त अभिनय जहार जिते बड़े सर ठाकुर जमी से सब बड़े जमी मनरे आसुथिबा जे जमी मो जीवनटा सार्थक हो तो मो मनरे क्या प्रति हिंसा देश अभिमान आसुनी तो मो जीवनटा मो केते ठाकुर को नीति नियम नहीं चली मो प्रति ठाकुर एत कृपा जे ठाकुर कौन करते विभिन्न भक्तों मध्यम ना मत कि सेवार आ सुजोग दिखती देवेंद्र भाई मध्यम करुले प्रमोद भाई मध्यम प्रमोद भाई गुरु गीतार श्लोक सब देते कहले माँ सबुदिन पढ़ो एवं भाई अर्जुन भाई कहले सबुदिन नववर्षर प्रथम प्रभातटा बोलो ये अभय बाणीटा भी पढ़ो तो भावी यहाँ सब ठाकुर रोच मैंने काले मुझे कौटू ट्राक काले कौटी कौ पाद खसीज से सब बड़े हाथ धरी से मो हाथ धरी पिला हाथ भी धरी पाखे खाली मन रहू ये प्रार्थना और जहाँ सब भूल त्रुटि हो क्षमा प्रार्थना करमती अधिक समय ठाकुर बहे पुस्तक पाठ और ध्यान धारण दे पारि से आशीर्वाद भिक्षा करुच्ची ठाकुर कृपा कर जय गुरु
Jayaguru, by the blessings of Shree Shree Thakur, I have body and bhavi Vinay seva today. Today is Mother's Day and I would like to begin by wishing my mom and all the Mahas of our Sangha a very happy Mother's Day. Lately, I have been trying to spend more time to read Shree Thakur's books and learning more about him. I have started reading his chitti that has been translated into English and Brahmika Guru almost daily, and I'm also trying to do more meditation. I think by reading these two new books on a daily basis, it's nice to read what Thakur has written in different contexts to bhaktas and also in a more academic and spiritual tone. I think everything is possible by the grace of Shree Shree Thakur. He's always watching over us, protecting us, guiding us, and doing the right thing for us, even if we know it or not. And I would like to conclude by praying to Shree Thakur for protection, knowledge, devotion, faith, good association like Sadhu Sangha, guidance in all aspects of life and relationships, and the continued opportunity to do his seva. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Our Sangha Puja will be ending soon. Shree Thakur, I invite you to please accept the lunch bhoga in your room after the puja ends. And after Shree Shree Thakur accepts the bhoga, I'm also inviting all bhais and mas for lunch prasad. I also invite Shree Shree Thakur for evening puja today at NSM at 6:30 p.m. Jai Guru.
Jayaguru, I invite Thakur, our bhais, mas, and young aspirants to the next Y session to be held on the 17th. Jayaguru.
जयगुरु आमर अर्णव देवी भाई एवं मोर मे 17 से संघ पूजा पाड़ी अच्छी श्री ठाकुर महाराज भक्त भाई और माँ पिला सहित समस्त निमंत्रण कर एवं पूजारे जोग दे पूजाटी को सफलमंडित करियो। जय गुरु।
Jayaguru, on behalf of all Paryas and myself, I beg forgiveness from Shree Shree Thakur for any mistakes made by any bhais and mas and various sevas today in today's Sangha Puja, and to not repeat these in the future. Jayaguru.
Jayaguru. दीनानाथ एहि भिक्षा करे श्री चरणे दीनानाथ एहि भिक्षा करे श्री चरणे तब कथा रखिथिबि मनने स्मरणे तब कथा रखिथिबि मनने स्मरणे बाहरे की हेला नहीं न करी सोचना बाहरे की हेला नहीं न करी सोचना करिबि प्रथमे निज स्वभाव मजना करिबि प्रथमे निज स्वभाव मजना पर दोष खोजी बुली न धाइब मन पर दोष खोजी बुली न धाइब मन लागिथिबि सदा करी आत्म संशोधन देव लागिथिबि सदा करी आत्म संशोधन बचने आलापे हेउ रसना संजत बसने आलापे हेउ रसना संजत घुंची जाऊ अवसाद देहर जड़त्व देव घुंची जाऊ अवसाद देहर जड़त्व उचित भाषणे नहु किछि अंतराय उचित भाषणे नहु किछि अंतराय यथा कर्म हेउ चित्त शुद्धिर सहाय यथा कर्म हेउ चित्त शुद्धिर सहाय निरल स्वभावे तव आदेश पालन निरल स्वभावे तव आदेश पालन करी जीवी हे तही प्राणर स्फुरण करी जीवी हेउ तही प्राणर स्फुरण न मानिबि कहीं केउ बारण बंधन 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 जही थाए रही थाउ तब पदे मन देव जही थाए रही थाउ तब पदे मन जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় 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 জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় 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 গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় 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 গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় 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 গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai.
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 Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Jai Shri Shree Thakur Maharaj Bole Gopal Sri Guru Maharaj Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.
ଜୟଗୁରୁ ଭାଇ ମାନେ ମା ମାନେ ଏପ୍ରିଲ ମାସର ଦିନଲିପି ଷ୍ଟାଟିଷ୍ଟିକଟା ରିପୋର୍ଟଟା ଦେଇ ଦଉଛି। ଲାଷ୍ଟ ସଣ୍ଡେ ମାନେ ଏପ୍ରିଲ 3rd ଥିଲା, ମାନେ ଆଇ ଜଷ୍ଟ ୱାଣ୍ଟେଡ୍ ଟୁ ଗିଭ୍ ସମ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ଟୁ ଭକ୍ତସ୍ ଟୁ ଫିଲ୍ ଆଉଟ୍, କାହିଁକି ସାଥିବ ନସାଥିବ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଲେଟ୍ କରିକି ଏ ସଣ୍ଡେ ଦଉଛି ରିପୋର୍ଟଟା। Congratulations to Biswajit Behera bhai and team. ए वर्ष ए मासटा एप्रिल मासटा टी बढ़िची नंबर, मार्च मासे नंबर थिला 46 करथिले, एप्रिल मासे 52 हो जाइची। खाली भाई टिके अपन टीम ते नजर रखो, मझे मझे जने बंद कर दूछन तांको टिके रिमाइंड पठांतु। फॉर एग्जांपल माने एप्रिल मासे के जण माने गोटे दिन कर रही गले, आ 2 जण खंडे 2 दिन कर रही गले, 3 जण खंडे 2 दिन कर रही गले, ताको टिके मझे मझे रिमाइंडर पठांतु। बाकी तो समझ चलचंती माने बेस भलो हेची रिपोर्टटा, माने ओवरऑल परफॉर्मेंस एनीवे। सो टोटल 52 कोन करचंती, कि खाली जो कहली जे 3 जण खंड रहिले 2 रे, जणे 1 रही गले, एनीवे टोटल 44 जण 44 दिन अधिक करचंती। तो पूरा मासरा करचंती 39 भक्तस करचंती पूरा मासरा। तक नाटा पढ़ दूछ क्विकली 39 अजित भाई, अमिताभ भाई, अनुप भाई, अश्विन भाई, भक्तिमा, विजय भाई, बिजू भाई, विनय भाई, विश्वरंजन भाई, विश्वजीत बेहरा भाई, विश्वजीत राय भाई, ब्रजेंद्र भाई, वृंदावन भाई, दीप्तिमा, गुरदास भाई, ज्ञान भाई, कल्पना मा, लिप्सिता मा, निर्लिता मा, पद्मा मा, पल्लविता मा, पल्लवी मा, प्रभाकर भाई, मा, रश्मि पंडा मा, संगमित्रा मा, सानुजित भाई, सार्थक भाई, सस्मिता मा, शिवानी द्विवेदी मा, स्मिता बाई मा, स्मिता राय मा, सुभाषिष भाई, सुप्रीति भाई, स्वप्नेश्वर भाई, श्वेता मा, उषा मा, भक्त भाई एंड वेदमती मा। थैंक यू भाई माने मा माने जो ने बंद करूछन से कंटिन्यू करंतु। आ गोटा कथा नोटिस करूची जे के जन भक्त 25 को रही जाउछथि, बिकॉज़ आई एम गिविंग द नंबर फॉर 25, से होचे 25 गेले हेगला नै 25 हेला नै पूरा मास करंतु, मासरा करंतु। कथा हमर आध्यात्म कथा बारंबार कहि आछि, हमर मूल हला आध्यात्म उन्नति। होगासी आध्यात्म उन्नति न हला माने वी आर जस्ट वेस्टिंग टाइम काइंड ऑफ। ते फोकस करला जे दिन जा करछथि कि हमर उन्नति हो सेरा देखिया, सेरा टिके माने करंतु, ताको माने मेजर करके देखंतु को जारे पछी जाउछथि कोन होउची आज कथा। द्वितीय कथा जे गला थरक मु भूली गली महिला पूजा परे परे कहिवा पई मने पड़ला, अटेंडेंस से सब मने पड़ला, अटेंडेंस परे कहली जेहेतु अनेक मा से ड्रॉप कर जाइथिले, साउथ रे कहि दउची जे हमर सम्मेलन रे परिचालक कहिथिले दिवस 3 दिवस तले शास्त्र कहिथिले जे महिला पूजा रे सब मां माने धळा नाली साड़ी पिंधिबे अने तो करूचंती किंतु ए वर्ष आउटे मने पकि दउ चाहली सेटा जे काले के भूली जिवे कि जो मा नुआ आसीबे से विषय लक्ष्य रखिबे जेमती धळा नाली साटा महिला पूजा रे निहाती पिंधिबे हाई तो नाही कोन किछि उपाय नाही यदि मगेई परिबे मगेई दियंतु से गला थरो माने वॉलंटियर जे जाउछन इंडिया से गौरव वगैरह मगे दे पारिबे इत्यादि किनि देकरी आ जो नाही चेष्टा करंतु जदि निहाती न पाले किंतु सेटा परिचालन गोटे थिला ये निर्देश थिला सेति की मोतर पर विषय आ किछ अछि कि
खाली सम्मेलन रो सेवा मुख्य मन को जय गुरु सबटी खाली मंत्र के पड़िबो तांगा सो सेवा जान सो अछि
हां हां
उसकिन करे कर दन
हां खाली माने जो जोन का आगुर आरंभ होवा कथा से माने मु जानि छी माने एमानकर भोग प्रस्तुति तांकर डिस्कशन हेतिला आ संजीत भाई मेसेज देखी छी तांकर ग्रोसरी पई आ अन्य किछि नाही मो पाखरे संगीत वाला बुधे बुनानी आसिन हेलानी हम जानि कोन हला नै नले की कहि देबी कि ना चटापट जस्ट वन क्विकली भाई संगीत केदुर वाला
हाँ भाई जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु
जय गुरु
हाँ नहीं आप मुख्य थ्रू जाऊना से कहीदे जी स्टाटस अपडेट हाँ संगीत मुझे कहीदे जेहतु पचारे संगीत कॉल हो जाता संगीत सिलेक्शन तो हो प्रैक्टिस टा हम नेक्स्ट वीक रे प्रैक्टिस अच्छी तो वाई मान पठे दी आसाइन कर कार कौ अच्छी मत खाली गीत ना गुड़ा पठेबे आउ सब गुड़ा प्राय हो जाए
अच्छा अच्छा हो हो लिस्ट नाही से संगीत मन पडला
हां हां हां
लिस्ट আছে देखि दिया लिस्ट टा का माने क्विकली
हां हां
माने केतरा सेवा तो सही हबो
आज्ञा हां आसन से जो मा देखु छु करछंती सेटा सो लागिथिले सेतरे तंगा सो पते चलछि माने आसन सजा कोन हबो असने तो ऑलरेडी पठे देछन्ते तांकर रेजिस्ट्रेशन अकोमोडेशन पे समस्त जो माने समस्त चेष्टा करी आसे पेंगा सो ना एंट्री कर दियंतु जहां पे जाना पड़िबो से अनुसार तांकर सब माने प्लानिंग हबो कोठी के रहिबे तापर ग्रोसरी लिस्ट टा माने से डिपेंड कोछि दारी परे सो समस्त लिखि दियंतु आसे पे चेष्टा करंतु नाडा एंट्री करंतु सेटा हला तापरे अपन कहले ग्रोसरी सब करछन्ती संजीत भाई सब करछन्ती मैगजीन चली नेहर भाई सो तांका लीड करछन्ती दैट नो वी आर ऑलरेडी देयर इन दैट ग्रुप देखै छै सो अनन चली हर किछि किनिवार अछि चाहउछन्ती माने माने जो गिफ्ट लिस्ट आसी ऐड करा जाय परिबो हमरो 1650 गिफ्ट लेके ऐड करा जाय किछि जिंस आपनकर समझन जोटा यूज हो सेवला जिंस चाहउछन्ती हमरो जे गिफ्ट लिस्ट आसे सितरे आपन ऐड करि परिबे आउट था जो बजेट सम्मेलन जो बजेट करा जाउची जदि कि आपन किछि खर्च थाए करछन्ती जहां सेटा अनु भाई जानले सेटा बजेट सेटा को अलोकेट करिवे सम्मेलन बजेट ता मध्ये फाइनलाइज हेई नाही ए भितरे अनु भाई मध्ये सेटा प्रिपेयर करिवे आ सम्मेलन प्रोग्राम रो मीटिंग मे बी बरथरे आपन केबे अवेलेबल देखले सेंसर मीटिंग डाकिवा सम टाइम मे बी दिस वीक और नेक्स्ट वीक वीकडेज रे गोटे मीटिंग डाकले ठीक हबो सम्मेलन प्रोग्राम
ठीक अछि हां तो वीक मते ठीक टॉप हबो नेक्स्ट वीक चलबो
Yeah. So we'll go to attendance. Anything else before we go to attendance? Oh, yeah. Ajit bhai.
जय गुरु भाई.
जय गुरु. अमिताभ भाई.
जय गुरु भाई.
जय गुरु. पद्मिनी माँ.
जय गुरु भाई.
जय गुरु. अंजना माँ.
जय गुरु.
जय गुरु. अनुप भाई.
भाई जय गुरु.
जय गुरु. संगमित्रा माँ.
भाई माँ अच्छांते.
माँ श्वेता जय गुरु. आउ आपण माँ थिबे मिलु माँ भी थिबे तांको जय गुरु आपन जय गुरु.
आज्ञा जी.
आज्ञा हां जय जय. संगमित्रा माँ.
जय गुरु भाई.
जय गुरु. वाणी माँ. सोनिया माँ
जयगुरु भाई।
माँ जय गुरु। विजय भाई
जय गुरु भाई। जय
जय गुरु। सुनी माँ
जय गुरु भाई। जय गुरु भाई।
आज्ञा जय गुरु। विनय भाई
जय गुरु भाई।
जय गुरु। अरु माँ
जयगुरु भाई।
जय गुरु। विश्वजीत बेहरा भाई
भाई जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। विश्वरंजन भाई
जय गुरु भाई। राम प्रसन्न जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। आज्ञा जय गुरु। भज भाई जय गुरु। रश्मि माँ
जय गुरु भाई।
माँ जय गुरु। दुंदन जय गुरु।
जय गुरु भाई।
पद्मा माँ
माँ अच्छे तुम जय गुरु।
चिन्मय दास माँ
भाई जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। डौली माँ
जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। देवा भाई लीना माँ देवाशीष भाई
भाई जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। देव प्रसाद दास भाई
जय गुरु भाई।
भाई जय गुरु। सोनालिसा माँ
जय गुरु भाई।
माँ जय गुरु। देवी श्यामल भाई
जय गुरु भाई।
जय गुरु। स्निग्धा माँ
जय गुरु भाई।
माँ जय गुरु। दीप्ति माँ गुरदास भाई सत्यनारायण जय गुरु। ईश्वर भाई प्रज्ञा माँ
जय गुरु भाई।
किए कहले किशोर भाई कहले बोधे जय गुरु।
ना ना जय गुरु भाई मु किशोर भाई कहती।
ओके किशोर भाई जय गुरु। हाँ वंदिता माँ
जय गुरु भाई।
जय गुरु। महेश भाई
भाई लिप्सिता माँ कौची जय गुरु।
ओके हाँ माँ जय गुरु। लिप्सिता माँ जय गुरु। महेश भाई
भाई जय गुरु मु दीप्ति माँ जय गुरु भाई सॉरी मिसई गला।
आज्ञा जय गुरु। रश्मि माँ मानस भाई
जय गुरु भाई।
प्रज्ञा माँ
जय गुरु भाई।